I think through camp now, there's been 3 guys who've ended up with cuts, 3 or 4 who've ended up with broken ribs, and that's all from me landing punches. And guess what? When I'm sparring at about 50% max. So when it comes to fight night and I'm coming up against a guy who's just recently lost a lot of weight, exposing his rib cage quite a bit, like there's a big potential for his rib cage to get bust up.
Welcome to the Triple B podcast with myself, BadBoy Beaman, and the other Triple B, the second Triple B, Mr. BadBoy Beaman.
Well, actually, I'm the only Triple B, and you're just somewhere there in the shadows, being very large and round.
Listen, I think we can all agree that I am twice the man you are.
You're more than twice the man I am. You look like you're twice the man I am.
Okay, so today's episode, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive into the upcoming fight between BadBoy Beaman and JST and the wider SCB boxing event that is coming up. As we're recording now, I think it's Tuesday, so it's in 5 days' time. 4 days' time?
4 days' time.
4 days' time, so 4 days out from the fight. Camp is done. He is trained. He is a well-oiled machine by all accounts. Are you looking forward to the fight?
Me, I'm looking forward to it. I've been training hard. Although, little correction on something, it's actually not the end of camp yet for me. I got told actually by the promoters yesterday on Monday, no more sparring now, guys. You know, you need to make sure you don't get any cuts. So I was like, listen, I'm just going to the gym to not spar. I obviously
just
went
to tune up.
Yeah, I went in. I've done some rounds, and I'm going to be sparring on Wednesday as well. But there will just be light tech rounds, you know, to work on the, you know, some last minute touches. Not that I need it. I feel ready. I've been ready for a couple of weeks now, so I've just been really ticking over and just adding more things to the inventory more than anything. But I'm feeling ready. I'm definitely excited for the fight, and I'm definitely going to be bringing that win home.
Fair enough. I'll tell you what we'll do though. We'll keep that little clip in the bank, because if you get a cut on Wednesday, I'm putting this out everywhere on the internet to tell you now. No cuts. Don't want to see this fight get cancelled. I'm sure JST would like to see it get cancelled. Deep down in the dark places that he's going to go when he's in the ring with you. So let's talk about JST. Obviously, he's going to be your opponent on Saturday night. He's a young, I wouldn't say he's a young kid, he's a young man. He's 19 years of age. There's been a lot of talk actually about age. Like, obviously, you're in your 30s, he's, you know, at the end of being a teenager. And like, a lot of people talking like that's actually a bad thing for JST.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. Obviously, there's so many different aspects of it, like you said, about the experience. But you have to remember, like, I've had 54 fights, and out of all of them, they were before I even turned 24. So my last fight was when I was 24 years old. And since then, I've never boxed, right? So between
never boxed competitively anyway.
Well, I've trained, of course, yeah. But I'm talking about, like, my first fight, I believe I was 18 years old. I was fighting grown men. You know, I was fighting fellas who were in their 30s. I was knocking them clean out. And then I found a love for it. So I started trying to get as many fights as I could. Some months I was fighting every weekend, and I was just getting as much in as I could. So in the space of around 6 years, I had 54 fights. So when people mention age, you know, JST's only young. When I was that age, I was knocking fellas my age now out cold in the first round. So it doesn't make a difference. It's what you're capable of. It's about talent. It's about experience and so much more. The only issue is, you know, I feel like I'm a hell of a lot more experienced. I've been ticking over for the past 10 years, and now I've just done and completed a full camp, and I'm feeling better than ever. So it's going to be a tough fight for JST, but I don't think age is even a factor in it.
You know, when I'm saying, people are saying about age, we both know it's just trolls. If it wasn't age, there'd be something else.
Yeah.
If it was, you know, they'll always find something to draw a negative on. So it's age for me. Age is just a number. It doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, he's too young to be in a ring with someone who's in the 30s. It's like, that's such a ridiculous statement, in all honesty. Was Anthony Joshua too young to get in the ring at 18 with someone who'd had 30 fights under the belt? Was Mike Tyson? It's like, age is a number. Obviously, you're fighting in the heavyweight category. There's actually a fair few heavyweight fights on the bill. As far as I know. I don't know if that's just because people And, you know, we'll speak from experience.
Everyone's fat from lockdown.
Maybe just carrying a bit of lockdown weight. Like, that's my excuse too, by the way.
Yeah, when we were in lockdown 1991.
Yeah, I've been locked down for 15 years.
And the rest.
And the rest. So, obviously, there's a bit of a heavyweight scene within SCB. So, but obviously within that, you have got options of people to fight if you were to continue fighting against other SCB fighters. Is there, I won't say is there anyone on the roster or on this bill that you think's better than you? Because I know the answer to that, and I know there isn't. But let's look at JST. Do you think there's anyone on that bill who's a better fighter than JST in that weight class?
No, honestly, but like what I will say is that every heavyweight on the SCB card, except for me, is not a natural heavyweight. There's not a single natural heavyweight on there. There might be people on there who've been carrying overweight, you know, extra weight for years of their lives, and they feel like that's their natural weight, but it's just not. If I was to cut weight and have to dehydrate to the point where I was skinny, right? I would still be a natural heavyweight. I would still be over 15 stone, and I'd probably have about 2% body fat, right?
Whereas I think we've actually talked about this before, haven't we? About like because I know you'd be. I think we worked out at one point that you would be very close to maybe being able to just touch under into cruiserweight.
Well, I've done it before. I've actually I've cut weight in the past for the fight. I was meant to be getting a title fight down south in Bath. Cruiserweight title fight. I'd never boxed a cruiserweight before, so I cut weight. I got down to 14 stone 10, and it was probably the worst experience of my life having to cut that weight.
You look dead.
I was training for like 8 hours a day, just cardio to keep that weight coming off. And then I got a phone call a week before the fight telling me the guy had broke his hand and they've got a replacement for me, but it's heavyweight and it wasn't for the title. So I then had to try and put that weight back on. So I'd lost a lot of muscle mass in the process.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Is that if you look at your weight now, and if you were to cut properly and cut in terms of cutting fat and then obviously dehydrate to reach whatever the minimum weight you can reach is without touching your muscle mass, there's no way you're getting under that. And I think that's what makes the point, is that everyone else on that card, if they were to cut their body fat and dehydrate to weigh in, they could all quite easily hit cruiserweight, and probably some would even dip right down into the light heavyweight.
I think there's a lot more. Like there's guys on there like who they would literally, like, although they're really, really, really fat at the moment, right? And some of them are going into the fight extremely fat, like overweight, not trained properly at all. Like if they were to really cut weight, you're talking middleweight. Maybe some of them are even welterweight, but they're going in a heavyweight now. And I find that scary to think that
it's quite dangerous in a sense, isn't it? Because I mean, let's fit, like, you're a natural heavyweight. If someone who's a natural middleweight, which means they've got like the muscle mass of somebody who's a middleweight, they're 5'10", 11, maybe even shorter. The only reason they're fighting someone like you is because they're carrying too much fat. So I mean, this is something for me. I think it's a bit of a contentious issue within creator boxing and within white collar boxing as well, that you've got people fighting well out of their physical prime, which means they're fighting at the wrong weight classes, and they're mixing it against people they shouldn't be mixing it with, really. I don't think JST is so much one of them as well, like, as other fighters on the card, maybe, because he's not, I don't think he looks particularly overweight. I'm sure I think he could dip down into cruiser, probably would be his prime.
He's still overweight. He's lost a lot of weight. He was really fat, but he's lost a lot of weight. I think he's doing very well on a weight loss journey, but he's definitely cruiserweight at best.
That's what I'm saying. I think he goes to cruiserweight. I don't think light heavy. I think obviously he build muscle mass as well with training that keep him up in cruiser. But he's tall, but is he 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3", apparently, yeah.
6'3", so he's pretty much similar height to you. I think he probably got half an inch to an inch
I'm
on him.
6'4".
Similar reach, similar frame size, I think you're probably just carrying a bit more muscle mass on top of that frame, really. And I think from his training videos, from the sparring we've seen, that in the footage that he's put out, that's going to be a big factor in this fight.
Listen, I'll run it down for you quickly now, right? When it comes to it, like I've boxed lads, I've sparred lads in camp who are little, like got the speed, they got the momentum, they can pebble dash you with combinations and flurries, and they can keep up that pace for 6 or 7 rounds, right? The 1 punches and the 2 punches that I'm landing on these guys, it's sending them on their ass. I think through camp now, there's been 3 guys who've ended up with cuts, 3 or 4 who've ended up with broken ribs, and that's all from me landing punches. And guess what? When I'm sparring at about 50% max. So when it comes to fight night and I'm coming up against a guy who's just recently lost a lot of weight, exposing his rib cage quite a bit, like there's a big potential for his rib cage to get bust up. And not to mention the fact that we've already seen the lads he's sparring in the videos, and he's posting pictures of himself with a bloody nose and a little bit of a mark on his eye. So if those small lads are able to actually catch him and make him bleed, I definitely think that there's going to be a rude awakening for him. I don't think he realises that boxing a heavyweight, when you're not a natural heavyweight, is going to be dangerous. It's a different type of power.
You've obviously sent me a lot of footage that you haven't put online, and understandably so. You don't want to. You're not going to show everything you're working on and show everything you've got online for your opponent to see, and I get that. But from what I've seen from your footage, all the clips you sent me, especially from your sparring footage, like some of the lads that you're seriously rocking with, let's probably say 60-70% power in a spar, 50. Like, these are big lads, big, hard and heavy lads who can take a punch.
Experienced as well.
Yeah, experienced, and they're buckling. The only thing I'm going to say is it needs the experience and it needs the technique and defensive ability to slip it, to ride it, to parry it, or to get your gloves up.
But everything we've seen from his training videos goes against what you've just said. Like, at what point is he slipping anything? There's a clip of him where he's like, I think he actually shared it to Twitter, like, hit and don't get hit, right? But actually, he got hit 4 times or 5 times, sorry. And then when he slipped at the end, there was literally like no punch being thrown. So he's took four straight shots and then a little cheeky hook. So that's 5 punches landed on him. And then when he rolls out the way, there's nothing to roll out the way of. So, I mean, either he's a massive troll or, like, I don't know, maybe just see something different to me.
It's not, I mean, the guy throwing is just throwing wildly as well. There's nothing technical about the punches in it. There's
so much. Yeah, I've already broke that down in a video on my boxing channel. Subscribe to that if you must. Okay, so based on the footage he's put out, you can see the progression. You can see that he's getting better. You can see that he's losing more weight. He's getting faster and sharper.
Yeah.
But from the very early videos he was putting out, there was mistakes being made by him as a fighter, right? Now, do you know what? I'll correct that. There's mistakes being made by his coach as a coach for not teaching him to correct those mistakes. Keeping your hands up, when you're throwing shots, move your head in amongst it and around it and so on, right? When you're throwing punches, use your feet and your legs to throw the punches as well. Like all of these things. Early on I thought, okay, maybe he's a bit overweight. Needs to get a little bit fitter before he starts putting all these things into action. However, building through them to the most recent videos at the end of his camp, he's still making all those same mistakes. Now,
and that's it, isn't it?
He might see this and he might learn from it. He might see the video I've done reacting to all of his clips and learn from it. But all I can take away from it is that, like, if he hasn't learned in the past 3 months of camp,
it's too little too late now, isn't it?
It's too little too late. So even if he's thinking about it now, probably having sleepless nights about it, wondering whether or not he's making mistakes here and there, right? On fight night, I will find the openings and I will pick them apart. I don't think that like, listen, I will tell you now, though, based on the footage he's put out, compared to anybody else on this SCB card, I feel like he's one of the best, if not the best, after me, of course, because I'm gonna beat him up. So. But yeah, I do think he's done really well in the sense of a training camp and working hard and going to the gym and having his rest days and eating healthy and so on. He's done all that right. There's a couple of other lads who've, trained hard as well, but most of them are training in the bedrooms, hitting punch bags, or training in the back gardens. And I think JST's definitely put in the hard work, but when it comes to it, like, he's left himself with a couple of flaws that are going to be picked apart.
Yeah, I mean, my take on it from the beginning was that you're right about his coaching in particular, because there's a lot of mistakes that are very, very easy to, well, I say very easy to correct. They're not particularly easy to correct, but they're easily correctable by your coach pointing it out, and just every time you drop your hands, every time you're punching too low, every time you're not turning your foot with the hook, you're not pivoting your weight behind your punches. Every time you do that, the coach is picking you up on it and being, keep your hands up, right? Put some weight in, use your body for your left or right hand for him. These things, if his coach is telling him every time, it becomes second nature. You pick it up, becomes part of your muscle memory, so that when you throw that right, you throw it with your hips, you put power behind it. When you're punching, when you're jabbing, you're not jabbing at shoulder height. And that's one of my big things that I've noticed. And who knows, maybe he's a big troll, like I said, and I kind of hope he is. I would love for Saturday night to come and he turns up and he is just as good as you, and it's an absolute banger of a fight, a brawl, actually test you as a fighter. I would love it, because entertainment-wise, for the viewers, let's face it, we're all going to love to see just a slugfest between two heavyweights who can fight.
Yeah. So, like, when you put videos out trolling, there's still factors of that video that show natural ability. And in
you've done it for the whole like, up until about a week or so.
I have.
You every video you put out was a troll, essentially. Like,
yeah,
it in no way came remotely close to showing your true ability. The rounds on the bags that you were putting out, for instance, were like round 10 of the bags. You can see that your sweat was sweating.
My sweat was sweating. Yeah.
It was blatant to me. Obviously, I know you. Obviously, I've seen you fight. I've seen you train. It was obvious to me that, like, if I saw that I didn't know yet, I'd look at it and go, "This isn't him." Like, this is the end of a session, and he's just hitting a bag. Everything that you put out, like, you literally were throwing videos out of takeaways, like, or pictures constantly every other day of a takeaway. Do you want to explain that?
Okay, I will actually explain everything now. So first of all, let me talk about the training videos first, and we'll get into the takeaways. Okay, so first of all, the videos I'm putting up, I've literally just been like tapping the bag and stuff. Like, get a quick video of me, to ask someone in the gym to record me, and I'll just tap the bag, right? I'll be exhausted at the end of a session, and I'll keep my chin up, my hands down, and whatever. But another one was, and this was hilarious, by the way. So there's a guy coming back into the gym, really good boxer, undefeated. I said to him, do you fancy a couple of rounds? He's going, yeah, no problem. I said, do you mind if I record them to put them on social media, on Twitter, on YouTube and stuff? He said, oh, no. I said, listen. You're not listening to me. He says, what's up then? Go on, tell me. I said, okay, I want you to beat me up. I said, I'm not really going to throw much. I'm going to keep my hands down. I just want you to connect a couple of punches, lever me for the round. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it up as if it's great. And he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that. So we got in and he levered me for the round. So
it wouldn't.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So he levered me for the round. I put it up, right? And that was literally like some of the only sparring footage that I had put up. And obviously, people are going to be analysing that. So I was doing everything opposite to what I could do. I was like stepping on the inside. I was like throwing punches from angles I shouldn't. I was keeping my hands down. I was acting exhausted and slow and
Superman
whatever.
punches and that.
Superman punches and that, right? So all this stuff, every bit of footage from sparring and training that I put out has been hand-selected by myself so that people see what I want them to see. And in that sense, it's like leading them down a false path of hope for JST. Now, let's talk about the takeaways, okay? So I started this journey on 21 stone, 4 pounds. I was a big fat mess.
No, I mean, you actually, what have you dropped? Like nearly 4 stone, is it?
I'm 18 stone, 1 pound right now. I'll probably, between now and the fight, I'll probably put a couple of pounds back on. Like, I've lost a lot of weight, I've lost just over 3 stone. Now, I've been training hard. I've been putting in the work. Calories, inverse calories. I've been living in a calorie deficit. And do you know what, right? I've had 1 or 2 takeaways. My missus, she's ordered about 40 takeaways, and I've had to turn them down, I've had to decline, blah, 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 right? So I'm talking to my friends while I'm playing online, a couple of games at night, you know, want to finish work, want to finish training, wind down a little bit, play a bit of Call of Duty, right? And I'm talking to my friends about it, saying like, and they say, well, I get takeaways every night. I say, boom, I've got an idea. I said, send me photos of your takeaways, please. They were like, why? I said, every takeaway you get, just get a photo of it, send it to me, because I'm going to post it on Twitter as if that's my tea for tonight, when in reality I've been sat there eating chicken and rice or eating something healthy. I'll be honest with you, right? The hardest part for me, when I post them pictures, they look amazing. So I'm torturing myself at the same time.
Well, I've literally I've got one up on screen here now. I'm just looking at it. It's tandoori chicken, doner meat, chips. Looks like tikka masala sauce.
Yeah. So I'll tell you now.
And I'm like, I'm looking at it now and I'm salivating because I've had a pot of porridge. Literally some Quaker oats on screen. That's my breakfast today. And it's coming up to lunchtime and I'm like, I tell you what, a doner meat masala with chips. And
it looks nice, that, doesn't it?
No. Yeah. There was like obviously a few takeaways, wasn't there, that got put up. That for me was a personal favourite. The doner meat chicken tandoori masala.
It does look nice, stuff. You are right.
We're going to have to move away from this subject.
No. Before we do move away from the old takeaways, right? One of the times, my partner, she bought a McDonald's, right? So I didn't want to eat any of it, but I thought, I'm going to make a little video now. I'm going to bite into a Big Mac and stuff. So I did that. Took a Big Mac, bit into it, made a video. Like, I'm looking forward for the fight. Hope you're training hard, JST. I can't remember exactly what I said. Bit into a Big Mac. I've give this whole idea that I'm barely training, I'm getting beat up in training, I'm not learning much, and I'm eating what the hell I want. That's the image that's been put out on social media for the past 3 months.
And I'm not going to lie, he bought that because, what was it I watched? He did a podcast with someone.
Right.
I don't know what podcast it was. I think I sent you the link, didn't I?
I didn't watch it.
It was quite a long, it was like an hour. But he mentioned it in that, and he was like, he's been eating takeaways and everything. I was like, oh, mate, no. You've literally been caught hook, line, and sinker, mate. You're on the rail, mate. You're on the line. Honestly, like I seen you, like the one when you put up with the burger and you bite into that burger. I was like, I questioned it. I was like, hang on a second, is he actually nailing kebabs and burgers? I mean, yeah, okay, you probably could and probably still go and win the fight, but. You open it up a bit if you do that. If he's losing weight training and he comes in fit and you don't put him away early, like you open yourself up to actually, maybe not win.
So I just want to say a big shout out to Chunk and Corrosive for the pictures. Nice one, lads.
So on the night, what's the routine? Like what are you? Have you got like a routine for the fight? Have you got like a ritual or anything like that? Any way you prepare yourself for? Any nerves, anticipation? Listen, you're going into a fight, it doesn't matter who you're fighting. At the end of the day, there's still adrenaline. Fight or flight kicks in. Like, how are you going to deal with that?
How have I handled fight or flight my whole life? What do you reckon? Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, right? Obviously, I've taken the camp very serious. I've trained really hard. Everything that I'm going to learn, I've already learned. So I'll be in on Wednesday for another session. I'll do, just tick over. Nothing much. Learn, a little bit of technique. And when it comes to the actual build up to the fight and being there on the night, you know what, right? One of the lads in the gym who, sadly, he got robbed on last weekend or the weekend before, I believe it was. He went down, he fought in the O2 Arena. And
you told me about this.
Yeah. He won 4 rounds and lost 1, in my opinion, based on what I was watching. The commentators who were commentating and whatnot, they thought he won and it went the other way. But he come out and he just said, listen, I'll give you the same advice someone gave me just before I went in the ring. Just enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about. And do you know what? Since he said that, I'm like, do you know what? Right, yeah, I'm going to enjoy it anyway. But I'm going to just soak up the moment and enjoy it. So as for nerves, as for the routine prior to it, I'm going to turn up when I've been told to turn up. I'm going to get myself ready, warm up a little bit, do my ring walk, which, by the way, if everything goes to plan, That ring walk is going to go viral. Everyone's going to love it. Everyone's going to hate it. It's going to get
you haven't told me what you're doing, actually, have you?
And I'm not going to live on this. No, it's not going to be mentioned. I will tell you outside of this.
No. Leave it. I want the surprise. I'm actually going to be mates to watch it, aren't I?
Yeah.
Because I'm too cheap to travel down south with you. Have you got to do like a face-off or anything like that, like for the weigh-in and stuff?
So the fight on Saturday.
Yeah.
I've got to get down there for Friday. I've got to do a weigh-in, face-off and a press conference on the Friday. That's also going to be live streamed on youtube.com/@SCBoxing.
We'll leave a link in the description as well for the SCB channel, because obviously that's where it's going to be all going to be live streamed. So anyone who wants to watch it, go down there, hit the subscribe button for them. But yeah, so okay, you were saying you've got the weigh-in and press conference thing on Friday.
Yeah.
And that's going to be live streamed as well, like the press conference
that's all
thing.
live.
Okay,
that's going to be live.
That.
And as far as I'm aware, there's a couple of people coming down different news sites and whatnot. I actually had Dexato reach out to me asking if there was like press access. I sent them the link that they needed to fill out for press access.
Hang on, whoa. Let's just hold that. Dexato reached out to you.
Yeah, well, Dexato Mike, he's the founder of Dexato. He reached out to me directly.
I understand that, and I know you've obviously spoken to him over previous things in the past, like. Yeah. But didn't they, like when they covered this show, didn't they?
Yeah, but they've amended the article.
Oh, okay, so they've actually saw, because that pissed me off, because I mean, not just from your point of view, but from the show's point of view, your fight's top of the bill. Like, you can't fucking miss it on the posters, on everything that's been said about it. More talk is about your fight than about anything else. And when they initially posted the list, they literally left you off, didn't they? Like, you were the only... And it wasn't even just the SCB fucking roster that they put up. It was all the Misfits cards, Happy Punch, or everything that got... Every fight that there was in May was listed, apart from your fight. And, like... It was, I mean, I think personally it was targeted.
Of course it was. Yeah, of course it was.
They're no friends to the Triple B brand, really.
Not at all, no. I could label myself off about 15 of their articles they wrote about me. Cloud chaser, conspiracy theorist, the Batman of Verdansk.
The Batman, yeah. Hey, that's not a bad one,
Yeah, I like that one. I was thinking about putting that in my bio.
Do you think it comes down? I don't know. I mean, this might have to get taken out of the podcast, because I don't know if it's something that you've spoken about or will speak about. But I know they approached you at some point, didn't they, to actually do like a one-to-one. They
didn't want to do a one-to-one. They wanted to do a documentary about me.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like a whole documentary, like about you. This was during like the height of obviously Warzone.
I went into the conversation with an open mind. Obviously, I realised at that point they'd wrote many articles where at no point did they ask for my side of the story. They were extremely biased towards the large streamers. The reason for that, just like everyone else, like esports talk, like Modern Warzone, because those large streamers continuously bring in the views, the clicks and whatnot. So that's why it's protecting their own business through protecting one of the streamers who they... whatever. But I can be honest with you anyway, I don't think the reason they're coming anyway is to even focus on the fights. So the people behind Dexato, the people involved, I feel like there's always like 2 or 3 steps to every move they make. So for example, they left me off the list of fighters. I mean, I'm the main event on the SCB card. They left me off the list. Knowing the history between myself and Dexato, it makes sense that they left me off the list, right? Because they've never said a positive thing about me. They've never promoted me in a positive light in any way, which is why I declined doing that documentary with them. And when I was in a chat with them in Discord, they were talking about conspiracies and things like that, asking if I'm a conspiracy theorist in other aspects of life and, flat earther and stuff like that. So the fact they were able to actually like tell me that was going to be their narrative without saying it, they wanted to do a video documentary about me, but you could tell straight away they were going to spin it like that. So I know.
Yeah, they were looking for the angle.
So I believe that's why they left me out of the list on their site when they listed all of these content creation boxing fights that were going on, so that I'd go public about it and like obviously call them out, which I did. And then what they've done is reached out about press access. But you have to remember there's other dramas that have occurred recently that do kind of involve me. Maybe not directly, but somehow through being associated with certain people, I'm involved. I've been brought into it. And because of that, I believe the whole purpose of actually attending this show is not to attend the show and see how the boxing's doing, but
to try and get a negative soundbite from you or something.
So I've already spoken to people and said the no comment game is going to be on form with certain press while we're there. And Dexato, if they ask me any questions that aren't related to the fight or the boxing or my future in boxing, it's going to be a no comment.
Obviously, we were talking about the press conference, weren't we? And like the build up. So obviously, after the press conference, is there going to be like a face off during the weigh-in, or is it just going to be step on the scales and get your weight recorded?
I'll be honest with you, like they've said on the day they'll do like a round table sort of thing where fighters can have face-offs and stuff, but I had a face-off with JST already. I haven't got a nasty thing to say about him. I'm going to pick him apart on the fight and I'm going to come home with the win. That's all I can say, because he's actually an alright lad. But,
and he seems it. He's not been particularly.
But he's not very vocal either. So when it comes to our face-off, I was doing a lot of the talking, and he was literally giving one-word answers and sipping his water. So I've said to the promoters, like, you know, if you want to give some of the undercard a bit more of a spotlight of who they are and how they're going to be handling their fights, you can. If you want me to do it, I'll still do it, no problem. But there's no reason. Yeah. I'm not going to be sitting around waiting around to have a video recorded, because on the day of the weigh-in, I'm travelling down. So I'm leaving my house at 10 a.m, travelling all the way down south, 5.5 hour journey. I'm going to be sat in the passenger seat of a car while my coach is driving down. And then when we get there, we'll go to the weigh-in, we'll do the press conference, and then we're going to go for something to eat, because we're going to be hungry. Do you know what I mean? So we'll be going for probably a pub lunch or something, get something, obviously get the salad.
Yeah, I mean, on the Friday after salad, do you know what I mean? Maybe a bit of pasta, something like that. You've got to think fuel on Friday, haven't you? You got to think about the fuel that you're putting in your body for Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware of what I'll be eating.
Saturday night, like the fattest chicken, was it tandoori chicken and doner kebab?
Hey, listen. I have already scoped out all the local takeaway places, because after my fight, as soon as I've done all my interviews after the fight, as soon as I've taken photos with anyone who wants photos, you know, so guys, if you are actually attending the show, you know, after my fight, come and approach me if you want to get a photo, autograph, anything like that, you know, feel free. And I know that might sound very sort of vain or big-headed, but I'm just letting you know that I will be more than happy to come and chat with you, hate it or not, you know. And if you want some ringside as well, you can get it. Bam, 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 bam. You know.
Seriously though, like if you come down looking for some ringside, you probably will get it.
And you're gonna go missing.
Yeah. Hey, anyone who comes down looking for it ringside will be straight out of there when they've seen JST after the fight. When they see what happens to Jay, they won't want any of that smoke. None of them. I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm not going to lie. I think honestly, I mean, you haven't, like I said, you haven't fought since you're 24. So it's good to see you stepping back into the ring to competitively do something that you're obviously passionate about and you are good at. So I'm looking forward, not just to this fight, but to seeing where it takes you. I'd love to see, you know, a bit of buzz come from this fight, a bit of people taking notice. And maybe, you know, Misfits or Happy Punch promo, something like that, getting in touch and getting a little shot on one of them big boy shows with the top dogs. And I'll be honest, I think if that happens, it'll be a bit of a salt pappy moment. Like, no one will know who you are, like in terms of a boxer. No one will know what to expect. And then, like Salt Pappy gets in the ring and just everyone was blown away, like by how good he was. And I think hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. I do think it'll come eventually, because let's face it, there's a lot you can offer these bigger cards in terms of boxing ability, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the aim. And I said many years ago, when I first started doing YouTube videos, back when it wasn't serious, it was just a bit of fun. I was like, you know, if I reach 100,000 subscribers, I'll call out Logan Paul and KSI, right?
Yeah.
This was before.
That was back when it was Logan Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this was the original. Like, this was their first ever fight. They had the fight, right? And I'm like, I'll call them both out. Not a problem. I'll do them both on the same night. Now, they've both changed into completely different people now. Doing both on the same night would definitely be a challenge. But I still think I could beat both of them. It's unfortunate that I don't think I'd ever be in KSI's weight category. I think Logan Paul, with all the steroids he's on, would probably be heavyweight now.
Obviously, he's on steroids?
Of course he's on steroids, yeah.
I haven't seen it. I got
Look at him when he's in the wrestling. He's jacked up, like he's on steroids. I will say that, like, I'm looking forward to the fight, and for anyone who does want to tune in and watch it, thank you for any support you can give. If you're watching to watch JST beat me, I want to apologise in advance for what's about to happen soon.
Unlucky for what's about to happen to your boy. Guys, if you want to catch the fight, it will be live on YouTube, on the SCB YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. Thanks for watching the podcast. Fingers crossed it goes the way you want, and JST is not the second coming of Muhammad Ali. From me and BadBoy Beaman, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Hey, I'm not messing you. That looks fucking sick. That fucking Dynamite and chicken, like, oh.
So basically, I'm gonna just knock him out, like.
I think that's not the hook.
Oh, I'm not even asked now, just have some fun with it.